All right, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to solve a quadratic equation just by using a TI-83 calculator. All right, so here's three examples. We got number 4, number 5, number 6 here, where it's asking us to graph the equation and then find the solution from the graph. And it says here, if exact roots cannot be found, state the consecutive integers between which the roots are located. So that just means tell me what two numbers it's between if it's not a whole number. So what we're going to do is turn on your calculator, and we are going to get a y equals for this, all right? And you want to make sure that your equation says equals to 0 at the end, all right? So if it does not say equals to 0 and there's another number over here, you have to subtract that number or move that number over to the left so that you can get a 0 on the right-hand side. And then you would be ready to use your calculator. All right, so first one here, we're going to type in this function. So we got negative 2x to the second power minus 6x plus 5. All right, there's a couple things we can do. First thing is if we wanted to actually graph this right here and answer this question correctly and precisely, we would hit second and then the graph button. So that's the table. And we would just need to plot these points. All right, so if I plotted these points, it looks like some of them aren't going to fit on the graph. Negative 1, 9 would be up here off the graph. Negative 2, 9 would also be off the graph. But then we get 0, 5, 0, 5, and then 1, negative 3, which is way down here. So it looks like if I have 0, 5, let's go ahead and plot that. 0, 5, and 1, negative 3. All right, and you connect those together, you can see that that's going to cross the x-axis somewhere between 0 and 1. All right. And for answering this question, you could just say this crosses between 0 and 1. Or let's have our calculator give us a more precise number. And to do that, we're going to be clicking the graph button. And here you get a better idea of what the graph looks like. All right. If you can't see the graph well, what you can do is you can go to the window and you can adjust the window. So the x minimum is how far to the left you want to see. We want to see the x-axis over to negative 10, and then x max is how far to the right, and that would be 10. So this is default. It's what I like to use, negative 10, positive 10 for both the x and the y-axis, and it gives you a nice picture. It gives you 10 in each direction to see. We want to know where the points are where it crosses the x-axis. We want to find those 2 points there and there. So what we're going to do is once you hit the graph button, we're going to hit second and then trace. Okay, that's this CALC, stands for calc. And this gives you options for what you want to calculate about the graph. All right, we're going to be using a couple of these. But what we're looking for is something called a 0. A root or a 0 mean the same thing. So we're looking for a 0. We're going to hit enter. Okay, and you can see there's this little flashing dot or flashing little cursor on here. All right, so you're going to want to read this. This says left bound. Left bound means pick a point that is to the left of the 0. All right, so if I was trying to find this one right here, it's right in the center of the calculator, I would have to pick a point that's left of that. And right now where the cursor is at is left. So I would hit enter to pick my point that's to the left. Now it says, please pick a right bound. So I want to use the right arrow to move this point to the right of where the 0 is at. So here is a point that is to the right. I'll hit enter. And then it asks you to guess, and you don't have to guess. If you wanted to guess, you could move the cursor close and you could hit enter. But you can just click enter no matter where that cursor is at for the guess. And what this is going to give you is it's going to give you a rounded answer, but it's going to get as close as it possibly can to finding that 0. And the 0 of that function is at 0.68 if you rounded it. So one of our solutions is 0.68. Okay, and to find the other solution, we're going to do the same thing again. So hit second, trace. We're going to find a 0. So select the second one down. And then in this case, we're finding the one on the left. So we have to pick a left bound for the 0 that's over here. So we're going to keep clicking the left arrow until we get left of it. Now we are. We'll hit enter. Move the right arrow, move it to the right. Now we're to the right, hit enter. And as you see here, it says guess. I'm not going to move my cursor. I'm just going to hit enter again. Still works just fine. And so that 0 is somewhere between negative 3 and negative 4. It's negative 3.68. All right, and so there you would have your two solutions. Now, those are going to be rounded. They're going to be approximations using decimals, but they're pretty close to exactly correct. All right, what you'll see here for number 5 is that if they're whole numbers, all right, that's going to tell you exactly the solution. So we're going to go again to y equals. We'll type in our function here. Let's delete all this out, which is x squared plus 10x plus 24. Okay, we'll be going to the graph. We'll be able to see roughly where these zeros are. So you can see they're somewhere over here at, looks like -4, -6. But to make sure, we're going to hit second trace. And we're going to be choosing a 0. And then we're going to pick a left bound. So right now you don't see the cursor at all. The X and the Y down here shows you where the cursor is at. So the cursor is at the ordered pair 0, 24. So the cursor is way up here off the graph. So I'm going to have to move this thing left to be able to see it. And there you can see it come down. Pick a point that's left. So that one is to the left. Pick a point that's to the right. Hit enter. That's a point to the right. And for guess, you don't have to click anything. And you'll see that that's at -4. So -4 is a solution to this equation. Then you do that again. So second calc, 0. Pick a point to the left. So we're going to pick a point to the left of this left side now. Pick a point that's to the right. Right there's to the right. Hit enter for guess, and you get that the other value is -6. So we have two solutions, -4 and -6 for this equation. All right, so that is there's a way to use the calculator to find the roots of a quadratic equation.